the government's most recent advances have recovered swathes of territory in eastern Syria from Islamic State, which is being targeted in the same region in a campaign waged by Kurdish and Arab militias. Hezbollah leader Sayed Hassan Nasrallah, whose group has sent thousands of fighters to Syria, dismissed the fighting left to be done in Syria as scattered battles. Hundreds of thousands of people have been killed in the conflict, which has fractured Syria into a patchwork of areas and generated a refugee crisis of historic proportions, forcing millions of people into neighboring states and Europe. Military backing from Iran and Russia has proven critical to Assad in the war with insurgents, including rebels who have been backed by Gulf Arab states, Turkey and the United States, which has decided to end a program of covert support to rebels. Rebel groups were making steady advances against Assad as recently as 2015, when the deployment of the Russian Air Force to Syria turned the tide in his favor. Over the past year, Assad has crushed numerous pockets of rebel-held territory in the cities of Aleppo, Homs, and Damascus, brokering local deals by which thousands of his opponents have been moved to remaining rebel-held enclaves of the country. Ceasefires brokered by Russia, Turkey, Iran, and the United States in remaining rebel-held areas of western Syria have freed up manpower on the government side, helping its advance east into the oil-rich province of Deir al-Zor. Airstrikes. Islamic State fighters are still in control of around 27,000 square kilometers of Syria's territory, he said. The SDF, which is battling to defeat Islamic State at Raqqa city, has in recent days launched a separate offensive against Islamic State in Deir al-Zor province. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said airstrikes likely to have been carried out by Russian warplanes killed 69 people since Sunday near the Euphrates River in Deir al-Zor. The observatory, which identified the victims as civilians, said the airstrikes had hit encampments on the western bank of the river and vessels crossing to the eastern side. Syrian state television separately reported the army was conducting artillery and machine gun attacks on rafts carrying Islamic State militants to the eastern side of the river from their last positions in Deir al-Zor city. Aside from the territory held by the SDF and Islamic State, rebels still control a corner of the northwest, a corner of the southwest, an area near Damascus, and an area north of the city of Homs. Major General Isam Zareddine, head of the 104 Brigade, which was under IS siege for 3 years in Deir al-Zor, later issued a clarification on his Facebook page, saying his warning had been directed only at people who had taken up arms.